Hello, everybody. It is 8 o'clock, and I am here to kind of share my journey. I realized that I haven't really shared kind of my whole story and why I do what I do, why you see my crazy workout posts and posting my food and just kind of my self-love journey. Hey Alicia, thanks for hopping on. Love you. If you're just popping on, say hi, comment below. I want to keep this open for questions. So as I'm going, if you guys have questions about my specific journey, oh, my makeup looks good, thank you. If you guys have questions about my specific journey, definitely please comment below and ask me as I go. I want you guys to know that I'm an open book, and so if you have questions, post them. And yeah, so let's get started. I know I have a couple of people on right now, but I do want to get started. So hello, my name's Sierra, and I'm an Inside Out health and wellness coach, and I'm just going to jump right in. So I used to struggle with a lot of eating challenges and yo-yo dieting ever since I was about 16 years old. And now I lead other women to just really create a life of freedom. Freedom from diets, weight, and food obsessions. And I really want to be an empowering leader, and I'm training to be an eating psychology coach. So this is really, really my passion. So thanks for hopping on just to kind of hear about my story. So my mission is to really help women transform their mind, body, and health so that they can live a lifestyle and a life that they've always dreamed of and were meant to live. So I believe that we were meant to live a life of freedom from our past, right? So things that we've done in the past, we can break free from that and really live a life full of freedom and power, and just really to be our best selves. That's really my mission. And so how I kind of came about this was I was craving that same freedom. I finally realized that focusing on my health, like mind, body, spirit, my health was way more important than forcing my body into submission to lose weight and look like have some perfect ideal body. So I've switched my focus from perfection to really fulfilling a life that I love, and giving my body what it needs to heal. So I'm so grateful for this journey because it's allowed me to help others do the same. And I'm going to talk a little bit more about that later, but I'm just going to share with you my own self-love journey. And I also want you guys to get something for yourself as well. So kind of listen for little nuggets and listen for how this could make a difference in your life as I'm kind of talking. So feel free to take notes and ask questions as we go. So here we go. So this all kind of started, this whole kind of like journey of like self-hate and like this whole body image thing started when I was about 13. We all remember those middle school years. Middle school so hard. And I was about 13, super thin, but I was very, very athletic. I loved swimming. I was a competitive swimmer. I loved snowboarding with my dad. I loved running. I was very athletic. And that's when I kind of started getting a lot of attention for my body. Like I had an 8-pack. Like I had a 6-pack, 8-pack. I had lots of muscles. And I started getting attention for that. From boys, from girls, like, oh my gosh, you have such a nice body. And I didn't really think anything of it. I was young. I was just, whatever, this is my body. I'm just going about my business. Around 15, I started working as a lifeguard at Waterworld. And I hated it, but it was awesome. Like I made lots of friends and stuff, but it was funny because I got voted, like out of all the lifeguards, right, at Waterworld. If you're not from here, Waterworld is like this huge, like, Waterworld, okay? There's lots of rides and stuff. So I was this lifeguard at Waterworld at 15, and I got voted sexiest lifeguard. And just like all these like messages coming into my brain, I started just getting so much attention from my body that I made it mean something. Like I made it mean that, okay, well, I'm getting a lot of attention from my body, so I better stay thin if I want attention from people and if I want to be loved. Like deep down, going super deep here, I felt that if I wasn't thin, I wouldn't be lovable and that people wouldn't like me unless I was thin. And through all these different messages, right? And I remember where kind of something flipped a switch for me. I was in high school, like fast forward to high school, and one of my really best friends, she's super gorgeous, thin, beautiful, and she looked at herself in the mirror. We're getting ready for school, and she's like, "I'm so fat." And I was like, "Wait, what? Like, how could I thought she was so thin. I was like, how could she be fat? Like, oh my gosh, like if she's fat, what does that mean about me? Does that make me fat? Like, what does she think about me? What do other people think about me? I mean, all these thoughts started triggering this like self-hate journey. Like, okay, I'm not good enough. And I thought that something was wrong with me. So I decided in that moment that in order for people to like me, I better be thin. And if I want to get attention from others and be lovable, I gotta stay thin. So at this point, I didn't really know how to eat healthy. I just knew that in order to lose weight and be thin, you just had to eat less. So in my mind, I just was like, okay, well, how do I do that, right? So I went from being like, 8th grade, super thin, rock hard abs, like slowly started changing, right? My body started maturing, my abs started going away, my jeans started getting tight, just natural. Like that's what happens when you're maturing, you're getting older, that's kind of what naturally happens. But that totally freaked me out because I equated abs with people liking me. So I was like, oh my God, this is bad. I'm getting fat. Like in my mind, I was crazy. I was like, I'm getting fat. So this drove me to just start throwing up all my food. I don't know when I decided that was a great idea, but for some reason in my mind, I was like, okay, I will just throw up all my food so that I can be thin. So that led to completely binge eating, throwing up in secret in school bathrooms. This is super vulnerable, you guys. No one knew about this my whole life. Like, no one. I kept this a secret. Super good actress. Like, no one knew about this. So it just spiraled out of control, right? So I begged my mom to take me to a nutritionist. I was like, Mom, I just figured the nutritionist would put me on a diet and it would help me lose weight and then I would be happy. So I was like, Mom, please, like you have to take me to a nutritionist. So I went to a nutritionist. I was too afraid to say anything, right? Like I didn't say like, oh my God, I'm throwing up like every meal. And you couldn't really tell that I wasn't losing weight. Like you couldn't tell that I was throwing up on my food. My esophagus was probably just trashed. But you couldn't tell that I was throwing up everything. I was just so afraid of looking bad. I was valedictorian, captain of the swim team. I was on the dance team. I was in band. So I exuded confidence. I was homecoming queen every single year. All right? I think except for my senior year. So don't quote me on that. No, I think, whatever. And that was because I'm not going to get into that. But I exuded all this confidence. But inside, I was living one big lie. It was like I was a huge fraud. The dietitian ended up putting me on meal plan. I did lose a few pounds, but I sent her a private email and I couldn't bear it any longer. I was like, I throw up all my food. And she responded with something along the lines of like, I can't really help you. And I felt so alone and defeated. And the self-destructive cycle just continued. And I continued to isolate myself. So outside, like I said, I was outgoing and bubbly, but on the inside, I was struggling. I had to be perfect. So I couldn't let anyone see what I was going through. So fast forward, like through the years, I have done literally every single diet you've ever heard of. Low carb, no carb, detoxes, cleanses, intermittent fasting, Atkins, South Beach diet, cabbage soup diet, lemonade diet. What else? Flat belly diet. Oh my God, I could go on. I've literally done every single diet out there. Because I kept chasing after this thing of if I'm thin, then I'll be happy. all of these diets just led to me binging more and puking more. Like it just perpetuated the cycle. And it made myself wrong. I was so mad at myself. Like, why can't I just stick to this diet? Like, why can't I just be normal? Why can't I just be thin? Why can't I just be happy? So I'm going to share with you just next, just like how this started. Like, how did I get over this? Like, how did I change this cycle? I'm going to share with you how knowing your history and your nutritional story can also help you get to your perfect weight and really love your body for how it is now. Because that's kind of what happened with me. But there's two things that have kind of helped me get through there. So it was actually when I first took the leap to become a coach, which was crazy because my coach asked me 6 times to become a coach. I was like, how can I love health and fitness but be literally throwing up all my food? And like have this horrible body image. Horrible. Like it doesn't make any sense. How can I help people go through what they're going through when I'm over here with this awful struggle and self-hate? How can I do that? But when I said yes, it was really like that push I needed to start diving into books and research and personal development courses. I even did therapy to overcome my fears of ultimately not being good enough. So I started coaching others in their health and wellness journey as I was going through mine as well. So there's 2 big moments that kind of led to this whole epiphany. If you guys don't know, I did a bikini competition. Like the ones where you like have the orange tan and you're like in a bikini and these big plastic high heels and you like prance around on stage. And I did one of those. That was crazy. And I'm not bashing that at all. I think they're amazing. I think they're an amazing experience. So, but anyway, so I was engaged. This is a couple of years ago. I was engaged to be married, and I was going to Santiago, Chile, to teach English for 6 months. And I decided that was the moment that I was going to start training for a bikini competition. What? I know. I'm insane. Like why would you do that? So I go to Chile and I'm trying to like make myself stick to a meal plan while I'm in another country, living in another country. There's empanadas, like gelato. Oh my God. And I'm just driving myself crazy, basically. So I was miserable, long story short. And my binging and my purging and my depression was out of control when I was there. I hid it. I still hid it very well, but I was just so out of control. And when I came back to the US, it was like I had to totally start over. Like I was supposed to lose weight while I was in Chile for this competition, and I gained like 20 pounds. I was so mad at myself and disappointed. And so I just pushed myself harder, and I was miserable. I was miserable to be around. So I did end up doing the competition, and I placed really well. And I was proud of myself, but I still felt empty. Like I was literally the leanest I had ever been in my life. So picture this. I'm on stage. I'm in a green bikini with my orange tan. I'm super lean, and I'm on stage, and in my mind, this is what I'm saying to myself. My abs aren't cut enough. My legs are way too big. My shoulders aren't round. I'm like literally picking myself apart, and I'm in the best shape of my life. My mindset was in a place of just self-loathing, and I was so disappointed. I thought, okay, once I get to this place, then I'll be happy. Once I get lean and go on stage and prove to everybody and prove to myself that I can do this, then I'll be happy. So there I am, perfect body, and I'm just beating and picking myself apart. And I gained all the weight back in like 2 months. All of it. Maybe like give or take 5 pounds. I gained all the way back. So the binging and the purging, like I thought, okay, once I'm like have a perfect body, I won't like throw up anymore. I'll be fine. Yeah, no, that didn't work. I thought the competition would help me get over that.